I've run a fair bit of wood through the modified splitter here, done about 100 tonne or so. This whole section here is what I added on. It acts as a clamp, holds the block as it goes out, comes back, and it catches on these so that clamp stays in the one spot. The splitting plate moves back and the block drops down flat, and you don't need to adjust the blocks every split now. It's really good. Still having the same issue with the log roller. That issue is when you tip from here down to there, the blocks will go too fast or get cocked sideways, and every now and again you'll have to have one turn. I did have a bar coming off here with some chains, and that was working really well, but just the force of the big logs tore that out of there, so I'll have to redo that. This is the other thing I've added in, is just a stop. All the blocks get cut off at I think from memory it might be 13 inches every block. You can see it bent a bit of 1/2 inch plate, just not taking any notice, so I should have put a strut in there. But anyway, that's saved a heap of time. You don't need to measure anything, you just go up, bump that, cut it off, and off you go. And then the last thing I've added finally is some tungsten teeth. This is the first test I've had. I've cut 20 tonne today with it. Really dirty crap wood, and it's held up all day, because before I was going through chains. Sometimes you'd get a full load, sometimes you'd get 6 chains in a load, and you just couldn't pick it. It slows you down so much having to change it all over. And the way that the chain was getting oiled, this pipe here was getting fed from the tank, and it was catching on logs every now and again because it came up and out of here, which is right where the log sits. So I've moved it down in here. I did break it off one time. There's a knotty block came down and hit it without realising it, snapped it off, but I think that might have been causing some of the issue with the chain, but I got no way to know. I think the chain was hitting the fitting in here and dulling the chain on one side, because from the cab you could tell every time the blade had come down it was blunt, it'd work one way, it'd always go this way and never go the other way. So my guess was it was hitting here, and just you'd only need to scuff the side and it'd start going. And anyway, I'll fix that issue, which has been really good. Hopefully this tungsten chain goes well. It is Chinese, because I could not find the right gauge chain anywhere. It's 080 404 chain. So I've got onto some stuff from China. They shipped over a box for a price I couldn't pass up, just to test it. And if it all goes like it has today, I'll be getting another couple of boxes. This is just a temporary spot for this, obviously, but this was something I added on for the bar or tank. It keeps it pressurised. It's got a little 6 litre holding tank. I've got to replace the cutout valve because it goes to 150 psi, which means I've just got a chain bar oil bomb sitting over my head with pretty much air line holding it all in. But that's really good because it's auto start, auto stop, so I don't need to tend to that. I'll turn the tap on, it feeds the air up, pressure drops, it turns on, feeds back up, it turns off again. So that was really good. I think it was only about $300 or so. So I think what might have been on here originally is down in there. There's a auxiliary shaft. I think that might have had a compressor mounted on it at one stage, but that was long gone by the time I got it. So with the improvements, I've got it down to about an hour and a half to fill this with one man. I reckon that's pretty handy. It depends on the logs really. You could get it a bit quicker. It's also taken a lot longer, just like this shelly stuff. It's obviously going to take a lot more time to go through. It doesn't matter what sort of machine you're using. I did have a couple of comments on one of the videos saying how slow it all was and time's money or whatever, but when you can keep doing that over and over, day in, day out, you're not getting worn out, it's been a good investment, I reckon. The thing I've got to do is make a frame to to catch all the mill tailings here. This is what fell off the side of the truck, just not taking any notice, and it's spilled out. But I've been filling these bulker bags up. Like, that's really good fire bucket wood. All this stuff falls out beforehand. That'd probably be good mulch, but one thing at a time. But yeah, the mill tailings here, I'm just going to get a frame and hold this up, and I can pick it up with the forks or even with a chain and lift it with the loader and get something saleable. I'd like to be able to do something with all this and all the sawdust, but I don't know, it's just too many things going on at once, so I've got to try and concentrate and make sure I do the one thing right. And I just better fill you in on this bit of masterpiece before I finish the video. Got sick of towing around the air start, using the air start back. Never had any air in it, always had to hook the compressor up. So I made this out of an old truck chassis and bits of scrap steel that I had laying around. The father-in-law had the turntable, but I didn't have the legs for it, so I've got a bit of a bodgy setup here, and that's been pretty handy. Hook the loader on, tow it around, one man job. It takes about 15 minutes to move the whole setup, so that's been good. But, it won't ever go on the road, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. But yeah, these are these tungsten chains. I bought a 25-foot roll. You only get about 3.5 to suit this drive bar, chain bar I should say, and don't look a bad change. Nothing like the steel stuff that I'm using for the chainsaw, but anyway, like I said, 20 tons on it today, and it's still cutting really well, so it'll be good to see how that goes.